Well, hey YouTube. Yeah, they tell me I clean up pretty good. I've got an event coming up this weekend, and I think I've got the folks there convinced I'm respectable, so I'd better show up at least looking halfway that. This video is an introduction to the new playlist called Camp Cookery, and it's a solicitation for some help and input from y'all. The playlist is intended to show recipes, tools, and methods of cooking in camp during the classic camping period, 1890 to 1939, with a particular focus on trail meals and meals prepared in spike camps. Now, if you don't know what a spike camp is, a base camp is where a group of people, a group of men in the early 20th century, would get together to do things like fishing or hunting. A great example of that is Sean Dyer and Dave Canterbury's squirrel hunting camp up in Ohio, just completed, which I missed by happenstance. And what a spike camp is if you're in that base camp and you want to go out and hunt, and you know you're going to be gone overnight, well, you set up a spike camp, and you don't take everything with you, okay, including cooking implements. Okay, that's what our focus is going to. That doesn't mean that's where we're going to stay. We will do base camp recipes, and on the odd occasion, we may do some home recipes. Okay, food that you would consume in the home. There's going to be a focus on Depression era meals as well. Many those meals were done with minimal ingredients that transfer well into camp preparation. And the ingredients are going to be focusing on those given for trail and small camps in many of the various period publications from 1890 until 1939 in sportings magazines, and done by sports writers like Horace Kephart and Warren Miller and Townsend Wieland and all those guys, with motor camping writers mixed in. Okay. My primary references that I'm using right now, the first few videos, will be coming out of these publications. Okay. Camp Cookery by Horace Kephart. I believe this is 1906, 1909. Camp Catering from 1938. This so we're going from the beginning of the classic camping period to the end of the classic camping period with these two. And then the other is the, I printed it out, this is the Lookouts Cookbook, produced by the National Park Service for the lookouts that were in the fire towers, spread all across the country in national forests and national parks, until aviation made their job moot. And this is a great book because many of the recipes that are in here are small recipes. Okay, they're for one or two people, or at least a small group. So the recipes in here definitely fit in the trail or spike camp category. Also included are going to be electronic sources, books that are contained that you can find on the internet in the Internet Archive, and in particular those that have been put on file in the files section of the Bannerman's Camp Facebook page and in the reference library of Sean Dyer's Traditional Camp Crafters Guild. Wes Hubbard over there at the Guild it has found a huge compendium, here's a big word for you, a huge compendium of reference material that he has uploaded to the Camp Crafters Guild reference library. I recommend going there and getting a membership to the Guild just to access that library. Okay? Now, what I would like y'all to do is give me some suggestions on recipes or sources or ingredients that you might like to see me use. Okay? I will not be doing SOS. Okay? Not going to do it. Not going to do it. We are going to be using dried beef, but there's about 11 gajillion SOS recipes on Facebook, on YouTube, and I have kind of a rule here that I don't replicate somebody else's recipes or somebody else's videos. That being said, there are some YouTube channels that have recipes on them from the period that were designed to be cooked in the home, particularly Depression era recipes, that we will be using, we will be accessing, but converting that to the ingredients listed in publications like these. Okay? These will be our guide. This is not something I'm making up. Okay? I am doing what you would be doing today and what your great-grandpa did in 1910. And that is going to the pantry, seeing what I got, seeing what I can make out of it in the field, and taking that with me in my pack. Okay? I'll be giving advice on sources. I will provide, right now I will tell you, if you go to the file section of Bannerman's Camp and to Vico Expedition Outfitters, you will find a whole bunch of free labels for cans and boxes, okay, that you can download and use. And I will also mention that in Vico Expedition Outfitter, I kind of specialize in reproducing classic camping period food packaging so that you can use it in the field or as a demonstration tool in a public event where you're educating the public. So there you go. That's coming up. I will be attempting to cook my first recipe in this series this coming weekend at the Wings and Wheels Airfair at Old Kingsbury Airdrome in Kingsbury, Texas, which is a wonderful private museum that dedicates itself to the transportation methods between the wars. We've got museums out there dedicated to the First World War, and we've got museums out there dedicated to the Second World War. But like classic camping, there's nobody doing much of anything for between the wars, and that's where the Kingsbury Airdrome is, which their focus is between the wars. There are always some wonderful airplanes that show up. This is a fly-in. People who own vintage aircraft will fly in, and they will hobnob with the goober smoochers and all that kind of good stuff. Plus, there's a whole lot of Model Ts and vintage vehicles that show up. And me and my buddies will go out there and set up a vintage camp that kind of replicates the motor camping of the period of the 1920s and the 1930s. So when I get back from that, hopefully I'll have a video. Sometimes it's a little difficult to do the video you want to do at events like that because there's a whole lot of stuff happening. We'll see when you get there. So in the meantime, think about what you'd like me to do, what you'd like me to cook, what you'd like me to cook with, and what you would like me to use in my cooking. And we'll see you down the trail.